Today what we want to do is we want to look at some patterns that might help us understand our exponent rules a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my sheet of paper and I'm going to move, I don't know, about a third of the way down. And I'm going to start with something I already know, 3 to the first. I know that's equal to 3. I also know 3 to the second means 3 times 3, which is equal to 9. If I continued 3 to the first, 3 to the second, the next one would be 3 to the third, which means I would multiply 3 times 3 times 3, which would give me 27. If I continued again, I have 3 to the fourth, which means 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That would be 81. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 9 is 81. Or I could do 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is 81, to get that 81. If I continued, I would have 3 to the fifth, so that would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. If I multiply all those together, I get 243. Now, let's take a second and look at some of the patterns that we have. If I am going from this 3 to this 9, what did I do? I multiplied by 3. If I was going from this 9 to this 27, what did I do? I multiplied times 3. If I was going from this 27 to this 81, what did I do? I multiplied times 3. And if I was going from this 81 to this 243, what did I do? I multiplied times 3. So every time that I add another number in my exponent, then I'm actually multiplying my answer from the previous problem by 3. So, do we notice any other patterns? What if I started at 243 and wanted to work backwards to the 81? How did I get from 243 to 81? I divided by 3. How did I get from 81 back to 27? I divided by 3. And how would I get from 27 back to 9? I would divide by 3. And if I was at 9, to get back to 3, I would divide by 3. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to continue looking back. I want to see what we have so far and continue to move forward with this list. Now, I don't want to go with bigger numbers. I want to start seeing what happens if I go the other direction, because I already seem to understand the pattern going this way. So let's try to go back the other way. Here I have 3 to the fifth, 3 to the fourth, 3 to the third, 3 to the second, 3 to the first. What would be next? It would be 3 to the 0. So I'll go ahead and write that down, 3 to the 0. And I need to figure out what that's equal to, because it's not really 3, and it's not really 0. So I'm going to use my pattern. Notice a while ago I was dividing by 3 when I was going up 1. So here if I do 3 divided by 3, I'm going to get 1. That makes sense. Going from here to here would still be dividing by 3. What if I tried to continue that pattern back a little more? I have 3 to the third, 3 to the second, 3 to the first, 3 to the 0. If I backed up again, that would be 3 to the negative 1. So if I follow this same logic that I'm dividing by 3, I would take 1 and divide it by 3, which would give me 1/3. I could also write that as 1 over 3 to the first. I know you ask, why would we do something like that? Just saying. Just trying to notice some patterns and different ways things can be written. Alright, so I have 3 to the fifth, 3 to the fourth, 3 to the third, 3 to the second, 3 to the first, 3 to the 0, and then 3 to the negative 1. So my next one would be 3 to the negative 2. So what would that be? Well, if I took the 1/3 and divided by 3, that's the same thing as having 1/3 times 1 over 3. Remember, we changed it to multiplication by the reciprocal, which would give us 1/9. Notice I have 1/3 times 1/3, which is 1/9. Or another way I could write that is 1 over 3 to the second power. Say I continued working backwards. I have 3 to the 0, 3 to the -1, 3 to the -2. I would have 3 to the -3. What would that look like? I would have 1 to the 3rd, 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. I would have it 3 times. Just like here where I did my multiplication, I would have to multiply it one more time. So I would get 1 over 3 to the 3rd, or 1 over 27. Are you starting to notice some patterns? Great. One of the patterns I noticed was that I went 1 divided by 3, which gave me 1/3, and then the next one was 1/9, and then the next one is 1/27. So if I had something like 3 to the -4, I would probably have 1 over 81. If I had 3 to the -5, I would have 1 over 243. Are you seeing where those numbers came from? Notice here, those both had the 3. Here, they both have the 9. And if I went on back, both of these have the 27. What I want you to do now is just to take a couple of minutes. At the bottom of the page, I want you to write about all of the patterns that you see in what we just did.